Hello crafters, this is Flavia and I hope all is well. Today I have lots of card examples for you using the Spellbinders Small Die of the Month for July 2022. It was so much fun creating with this set and I hope you enjoyed this video. Here we have the Day at the Beach die set by Spellbinders. It comes with 15 metal plates to cut out a lady's bag, a bathing suit, a pair of flip-flops, a towel, a beach bag and 2 options for a hat. Even though there are lots of pieces included in this set, it was very simple to put the pieces together. Also, Spellbinders always have instructions in the back of the package which can be very helpful. Here is an example of the type of note card that we will be creating today. And before we start die cutting and putting the pieces together, we will first create this blue sky panel with golden foiled sentiment. These clouds are glossy because I heat embossed them with clear embossing powder, and I hot foiled a sentiment using a golden piece of foil. Since we will do heat embossing and hot foiling on the same panel, for that to work, we will need to do the hot foiling first because the heat from the glimmer machine will mess up our heat embossed images. I will begin by trimming a piece of golden foil that I will use to create a golden sentiment. The sentiment that I chose is Wishing You Blue Skies Today and Always, also from a set by Spellbinders. Because it can be difficult to read the sentiment on these metal plates, what I like to do when I get a new set like this one is to stamp all of the sentiments on a piece of scrap paper and keep it in the same package as the metal plates. I find it to be very helpful and a time saver. To make sure I cut the right size of foil, I will place the metal plate on top of the trimmer guide. It is important to cut the foil to size so we can avoid overfoiling. However, if overfoiling happens, we can quickly fix it with a sand eraser. I will be foiling this sentiment on a piece of cardstock that measures 4 by 5¼ inches, and I am cutting extra pieces because I am planning on making more than one note card. Here is the glimmer machine. I already turned it on, and when this second light turns green, it means that the platform is hot enough and I can start hot foiling. To make sure I get good results, I like to tape the metal plate to the foil and then the foil to the cardstock. That will keep it from shifting when I run it through my die cut machine. Because I know I will add a die cut frame to this front panel later, I am using that metal plate that I will use to cut out the frame as a guide right now, so I know where to position the sentiment so it won't get covered when I add the die cut frame. Unfortunately, the timer button on my glimmer machine is not working, but since I know that gold foil foils very easily, I will only leave it on for about a minute. Then I will remove the entire platform from my glitter machine and run it through my die cut machine to add pressure. So the glimmer machine will add heat and the die cut machine will add pressure, and that is how the foil will get transferred to the cardstock. Only then I can peel off the foil and check out the beautiful result. I will repeat this process on all of the other panels, and once I'm done, I will go over each one of them and erase any overfoiling that might have happened. To remove the sticky stains that I got on my panel from the pink tape, I will use a glue eraser. And to remove any overfoiling, I will use this gray sand eraser. Both of these erasers are great and they work like a charm every time. After that's done, we can create a blue sky with white clouds by using a stencil. To help me avoid getting embossing powder where I do not want to, I will prep each panel with anti-static powder. Then I will place the panel under the stencil and tape the stencil in place. You could use an ink blending tool to apply watermark ink, but I think it is just faster if I just tap the ink pad directly to the cardstock. Since we want white clouds, it is very important that we use a clean watermark pad. Once I have all of the clouds covered with watermark ink, I will remove it from under the stencil and add clear embossing powder. When we heat set this panel, the clear embossing powder will trap the color of cardstock that is underneath it. which will allow us to add color to the sky later without changing the color of the clouds because it will be protected by the melted embossing powder. Before you hit set the panel, make sure to double check it and use a small brush to remove any excess of powder because once we hit set it with a heating gun, this powder will melt and stick to the cardstock. If you are making more than one panel, I suggest you heat set all of them at once so you don't have to keep on turning your heating gun on and off all of the time. To add some blue to the sky, I will use Distress Oxide ink in the color Salty Ocean. As you do this, you will notice that the blue ink is removing the shine from the heat embossed clouds. To bring its shine back, make sure to wipe off each panel with a clean cloth or paper towel. Here is a closer look so you can see that the clouds will turn glossy again after we wipe it off. We could definitely stop here, but since I want to add some shimmer to these panels, I will now spray them with a shimmer spray that I created by mixing water and Ranger Perfect Pearls powder. Here is another closer look at these shimmery panels with the white glossy clouds. And as you can see, the golden foiled sentiment did not get damaged at all when we heat embossed over it. So always remember, if you're combining hot foiling and heat embossing, you must always do the hot foiling first because the heat from the hot foiling machine will melt the embossed images again and mess up the panel. Because these panels warped a bit, I will keep them inside a very heavy book while I work on the die cut elements. These die cut plates are very small and we can die cut many pieces at once, which is great. To cut out the ladies in different skin tones, I am using a paper pad by Memory Box named Earth Neutral. And to cut out the bathing suits, towels, and hats, I am actually using my leftover pieces of pattern paper. When I first saw this die set, I thought that it would be a great opportunity to use those pattern papers that some of us tend to buy because they are so pretty and then never use it. I am showing you the process for making only one note card, but at the end of this video I will have lots of examples for you, including a slimline note card. Adhering these die cut pieces together was very intuitive and it took me no time at all. I have seen other crafters assembling these pieces in a slightly different way, but I think they look great either way. For the body, for example, we can glue the arms under or on top of the torso die cut piece. It really makes no difference because the hat that we will add later will cover the top section. And then we can add the bathing suit. I'm using the Belly Arts glue and it is perfect for adding liquid adhesive to small die cut pieces since it has a very fine tip. I also like to use a pair of self-lock tweezers to hold small die cut pieces. I find it to be very helpful since it keeps my hands from getting in the way. For the hat, we have two oval shapes and we have to glue the smaller die cut piece on top of the largest one. Then we have two round pieces that will go in the center of the hat, plus the pieces for the ribbon. There are actually two options for the hat. We can cut it with the word hello or with the word smile, and I will have more examples for you later. Then we have the beach bag with die cut stripes and handle. The die for the bag actually cuts a slit in the bag and we can tuck in the flip-flops if we want to. For the beach towel, we actually have two metal plates. One that will cut out a solid shaped towel and another one that will cut out the stripes that we can adhere to the solid die cut. The solid metal plate not only cuts this large towel piece, but also leaves impressions on the cardstock indicating where we should adhere these strips, so it is pretty easy. There is also a third metal die for the beach towel that will cut out the fringes for each side. I just love all of the details. This is like putting a puzzle together and it is very enjoyable. In the end, I decided to change the beach towel for this note card, and I will save this pink towel for a future one. Off camera, I adhered all of the blue sky panels to 5.5 by 4.25 inches top folding note cards. And before I start adding the die cut pieces to this note card, I will first add a frame that I die cut using a metal plate also by Spellbinders. For now, I am adding just one layer of this die-cut frame, but later I will add 2 or 3 more die-cut frames on top of this one so it has some dimension. Because the beach bag is cut open, we can put the flip-flops inside the bag or leave it out. I chose to tuck the flip-flops in for this note card, and I will apply Ranger Glossy accents to the handle of this bag to make it glossy. As a final touch, I went over the hat with my Spectrum Noir Glimmer pen to add some sparkle. To create a matching envelope, I will hot foil the flap of the envelope using a golden piece of foil and this border plate that is part of another set by Spellbinders named Curved Christmas Glimmer Borders. And just like that, we are all done. I will show you the completed note card along with a few other ones that I created off camera. They all have a matching envelope, and I added die-cut flip-flops to some of the envelopes to hide the areas where the foiling did not come out great. Some of these note cards have a frame that I die-cut out of a shimmery white cardstock, and for others I used a golden cardstock. I absolutely love these note cards, and this animal print bathing suit with a red hat is just everything, isn't it? And since I always die-cut more than what I need, here is a slimline note card that I created with the leftover pieces. For this one, I added a piece of die-cut foam under each hat to add some dimension, and I added 2 die-cut bags inside this note card as well. I love this one too, and it looks great on display. For pictures and more information on today's note cards, make sure to head over my blog and Instagram page. I will have the links in the description box below. Let me know in the comments down below which bathing suit and hat combination is your favorite. Thank you so much for watching till the end. It means a lot to me. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel so you do not miss the next one. Have a wonderful day, and I hope to see you again soon.